Howdy! Welcome to my guide for Deeproot, and thanks for clicking here despite all the other videos. Basically, I'm going to be covering mainly the weapons here. I do plan to make an updated guide in the future when more things are added, since the game is still very early. Also, I'll leave timestamps in the description, by the way. And if you don't know what Deeproot Pickle Chungus is, basically it's like a wave survival game where the enemies get more smarter in AI and weapons they have as the game goes on, but yeah. So first weapon we're going to cover is the Fireblade, the first boss drop of the game. Basically it's not too bad, but it's def carried by its ability where you can set the enemies on fire, which applies a slowness debuff as well. And this fire can actually spread between enemies too that touch someone on fire. Keep in mind though, you need like 5 kills per ability use, and the weapon itself though is kinda rough, and you gotta get pretty close in my experience to actually hit anything, which could be bad, you know, later in the game. Since they start bringing longswords, you're gonna get outranged by them for sure, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue for people at that point, because like I'm expecting if you've survived to that point, you're at least decent at melee combat. Up next we got the longsword, which this thing is most likely getting a nerf, by the way, because this is most definitely the best weapon in the game currently. Because unlike every other primary, this thing can 2-hit people instead of 3-hit, and on top of that, you know, it's got some pretty good sweeping range. And also, when you land a second hit on a target, it does the thing similar to the katana where you're like pretty likely to take a limb off. And yeah, you can just decimate an entire wave if you get some crazy hits off with the great sword. But yeah, it's pretty dang good. It's definitely the best right now in the game. Speaking of the katana, this weapon is probably going to be the go-to for most people who just joined the game, because people love their katanas, and it's not too bad actually. Most notable thing about it is if you get 2 swing hits on a target, then hit a third, it does a special swing where you swing the katana around, and this also seems to shred limbs, allowing for 1-hit headshots. Up next is the musket, which is a pretty alright melee. Most notable thing about the machete is its limb cutting abilities. It seems to have a pretty high chance of hitting off a limb, and sometimes you can do 1-hit headshots with it. Overall, it's alright. Next up is the baseball bat. The baseball bat is kinda bad, not gonna lie. Main thing about the baseball bat is that if you hit someone in the head, you can knock them out for a few seconds. Only problem is later in the game, that's probably not going to be very helpful unless you're constantly hitting knockouts, because there will be so many guys, you're likely not going to get the chance to get a cheap shot on the guy you knocked out. Now the fire axe. This weapon is 100% the best of the starters in my opinion, because of one thing. The fire axe can always one-tap to the head, and it's actually not too hard to land consistent headshots with the fire axe. I 100% recommend this starter weapon if you're new and trying to be compy, because it's actually kind of busted as a starter. Fists are okay, but definitely not practical, because pretty much everything outranges you in melee. Best thing it has is on the 3rd swing you knock someone down, but despite it being bad, I'm still gonna rank it decent, since you can still make use of it sometimes. And the point is not to use this as a main weapon, it's a secondary for a reason. Next is the combat knife. Currently the only other unlockable secondary in the game right now. And I gotta say, I actually think the combat knife is worse than fist. Now I know that sounds crazy, but I'm for real, because at least with fist you can knock people out with the 3rd hit, but the combat knife has all the issues as the fist, but instead the knockout is locked behind an ability that you need like 10 kills for. I don't know the exact amount, but it's a lot of kills, more than the freaking Fireblade special, which is wild. And yeah, it's basically fists, but they locked the thing that made it decent behind a kill barrier. And by the way, I haven't mentioned this yet, but you have to re-get the kills every time you use an ability, by the way. So that, yeah, you have to re-get all those kills again, and yeah. Now the musket is actually the only ranged weapon currently in the game, and it's once again alright. You can really only make good use of it in public, so if you got friends in a private you can use it there too, but it's definitely more of a support type weapon, considering the bullets from the musket can't one hit, nor does a headshot one hit. And its reload time makes you mega slow. However, a good combo with the musket is running a secondary weapon with it, because you can headshot the guy once, then hit him with your melee. And yeah, also one more thing, when someone has the musket, it makes musket enemies start spawning, so be careful about that. Last of the base weapons is the chainsaw, and I actually think the chainsaw is a really fun weapon. And you know, it's somewhat good too. I got word from a dev, it does like 13 damage, 0.01 tick. And this thing basically one hits to the head. You gotta be kind of sticking on target though. All around, I would say this is pretty much similar to the fire axe. It's just you have a more rapid DPS option instead of just purely going for headshots, I suppose. Our first paid item is the magic wand, and the stats are exactly the same as fist, but without the stunning. But the main thing of this is the fact you can spawn in an allied NPC with its ability only needing 5 kills, which is pretty easy to do since this is also a secondary, so you can run a legit good melee and have no issues on that end. The allied NPC itself is okay. Sometimes he does well, sometimes he just dies in 5 seconds. I do believe he has every CQC move every time he spawned in though, but yeah. I really like the magic wand a lot because me personally, I always love having giant NPC battles, and that kind of scratches that itch for me. And the last weapon on this list is the golden odachi. This is basically if you took the Fireblade and instead of having the fire be an ability and instead was a main thing like bleed. This weapon is low-key just a better Fireblade because I actually feel like I got ranged now. You don't even need to get kills for an ability. You just have your fire always there. This is literally just a better Fireblade. I don't know any other way to put it than that. Well, that's it for now. I hope this info can help you in some way, but for now I'm currently trying to figure out the waves of the game and what happens to the AI eats 5 waves. But I will say I do know after wave 15 and onwards they can start pairing, so keep that in mind. But yeah, thanks for watching. Expect more informative stuff on Deep Root in the future, and thanks for listening to me yap. And I just want to say shout out to my boss Chase for backing me up with some money so I could get the items, and also thanks to you, Imp, for putting some of your insight into this. But yeah, bye bye for now, guys.